This video includes real sports injuries that some viewers may find sensitive or graphic. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh my God, how gross is it?
It's pretty gross.
Ew.
Hi, my name is Flo. I'm a certified athletic therapist and former anatomy and biomechanics instructor. Today we'll be watching a few sports injuries videos together. Oh yeah, I know this one. I've shown my anatomy students this one. Oh, it's tough not to cringe knowing what's gonna happen. Last few seconds of being totally fine. My heart rate's going up. There, that's why. Yeah, not good. As a musculoskeletal expert, I can confirm that this is not supposed to happen. Your body should not bend that way, under that much weight. Goodbye patellar tendon in that case. On one side for sure, if I saw the clip again, I might be able to confirm the bilateral nature of the injury. That's a bad one. There is one group of muscles in the body that helps you to extend or straighten your lower leg, and that is the quadriceps. All four muscles attach on your lower leg, on your tibia, through one tendon. In that case, that tendon is gone. Probably ripping a piece of the bone along the way. So yeah, about the nastiest injury you could have while squatting or close to it. To recover from something like this, you would need surgery to reattach the piece of bone or reconstruct the tendon, depending on where the structures failed. And then you're looking at a few months of learning how to stand, walk, run, and lift again.
We have 253 yards, and the wind has all but...
All right, what is Tiger gonna do here?
Tiger going with a 5-wood, setting up for a cut shot.
And we've seen this last couple of holes. What's going to happen?
Oh.
Gonna cut. Oh
my God, this is probably 40 yards, maybe...
What happened to the greatest player of all time?
Wow.
And it went down in pain.
Down.
I don't think I've seen this one.
And boy, when it goes in a spasm that bad, there's no way to recuperate from that.
Ooh. Upon reflection, this seems to be a case of time catching up to you. Father Time is undefeated. Even the greatest player of all time will suffer the consequences of swinging that hard for that long. I honestly have no idea what happened there. I have to rewatch that one to maybe get a hint as to what exactly is hurting. I know he's got a few issues, Tiger, so let's see. Was that his knee? Was that his back?
The question is he going to be ready for the rest of the... Remember, he's number one in the FedEx Cup. He's got to get up and finish these last three tournaments.
You know, I'm just as puzzled as the first time. I usually react that way when I shank a ball into the water, but I don't think that's what he's guilty of here. All right, let's see. Oh, yeah, I love this guy. This guy makes the rest of us look really bad. Yeah, so he can do with one hand what most of us can't even do with two. Must be nice. I mean, pure athleticism. This makes almost no sense from a physics and or biomechanics perspective. Yeah, very few people on Earth who could crush a golf ball like that. Never mind the run-up, which makes the coordination tougher. The one-hand swing is just beautiful there. That's a real athlete. Ooh, don't know if I've seen this one. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch the slow motion clip. Oh, wow, that is nasty. Wow, so once again, my anatomy expertise allows me to state with confidence that a knee should not buckle that way. What we're seeing there is hyperextension of the knee. His planted leg just bent back a little too far, most likely causing some ACL or anterior cruciate ligament damage. Maybe a piece of the meniscus would have gone along with it. The silver lining with that injury is the collateral ligaments, so both the one on the lateral side and on the medial aspect of the knee joint, might be fine because there's not a whole lot of twisting at the knee with this one. It's just a over straightening or hyperextension. Those are bad. Though there's celebrations in the NFL where guys do that. That's the saddest thing. It's not even a play. They'll just jump and try to do the Cristiano Ronaldo, like, shoo, and just like hyperextend their knees. Like, dude, like, there goes your season because you we're just too boastful.
Why are the knees so sensitive?
It's it's at a disadvantage mechanically speaking, right? It's pretty close to the ground. You've got a whole lot above it that weighs a lot, and so if there's any sort of imbalance above it, by the time it reaches the knee, if you're relying on those passive structures like the ligaments or the tendons, you're in trouble.
Nice.
Ooh, hockey now.
The man who just collapsed is a 54-year-old realtor, and he's having a massive heart attack.
Oh no, heart attack.
Now look at this player from the opposing
All right, well, yeah,
Number 12 takes
everybody's reacting
Did not receive immediate
well
attention.
enough.
He probably would not be with us right now.
As luck would have it, number 12 is an emergency.
Wow, performing CPR immediately, amazing. Yeah, that's usually the difference between life and death.
CPR, but it's not working. Dr. Bryant calls out for a defibrillator.
Good, now they're calling for the defibrillator, which should be called upon immediately regardless of the
We
outcome.
administered that shock and administered a little bit more CPR for another minute and a half, and he started breathing on his own.
Wow.
The stricken man is alive.
So best case scenario, it sounds like.
The paramedics arrive, but they can't skate. The hockey players
Paramedics brought onto the ice with assistance, so nobody else gets hurt. Brilliant.
Guys were skating, the EMS guys out at full speed, hanging on to their
Yeah, everybody knows what they're doing here. Nobody stopped doing CPR, which is fantastic because the objective is just to provide enough oxygen to the brain and vital structures to stay alive. Because I heard something earlier, you said it, the CPR didn't work. It is working. Just because the person isn't regaining consciousness or a restoration of a heartbeat may not be immediate, it is providing mechanical assistance to a pump that's no longer able to function, and thus keeps hope, and in this case, the person alive until further assistance is there. So well done by everybody there, it seems. Oh, Tony, my favorite golfer. And I think I know this one. It's a celebration injury, isn't it? Yeah. And you should celebrate following a hole-in-one, of course. That's amazing. But unfortunately, you should also learn how to run if you're going to do that. Tony's one of the best golfers in the world. He clearly is not one of the best athletes when it comes to running backwards. Wow, did we fully dislocate that ankle? It seems we did. He relocated it himself. Massive respect. There's no way that felt good. Doing it in a timely fashion like he did is important, though. It prevents everything else from seizing around it, but that would have hurt quite a bit. Yeah, so many people watching this will have probably sprained their ankles in their lifetime, so we know the feeling, we know how it happens, and we understand that there are ligaments and a few bones in the way that prevent it from getting worse. In that case, there's really nothing that prevented his foot from dislodging from his lower leg. The ankle's a really interesting joint because there's, it moves in a few ways, right? You can point your toes down or up, but when we roll our ankles, it's usually that it goes in or out. If you try to do it right now, you'll notice that going one way is almost impossible. We're very stable laterally. There's a bone there that goes a little bit lower, so it kind of acts as a buttress, prevents the foot from rolling out, but the other way is quite common. So again, most people watching probably have sprained or know of sprains that happen the other way. That's the trade-off between mobility and stability. So if you think of a joint like your shoulder, for example, and compare it to your hip, the shoulder is much more mobile than your hip. As a result, it dislocates much more often. So the ankles are supposed to be a little bit more stable than Tony's there, but if they are going to roll one way or the other, it's usually in the direction that we saw there. The good news is there are many exercises you can perform to help improve your stability and or your ability to resist external forces such as your body weight slipping over it when running downhill on wet grass for no good reason. All right, what happens to them? So they fell and they sprained their ankle. Okay, so we're seeing some typical rehab exercise. Ooh, and some really good creative ones too. Trying to restore range of motion, so our ability to move through that joint. The ankle joint, that is, and there's really two, but we don't have to get that fancy. And now we're doing work with resistant bands. So we are strengthening some of the muscles that provide that ankle stability. You would see this in any clinic you would step foot into in Manitoba, but probably around the world. Great way to strengthen all those structures without taking many risks, right? This person's not going to fall and slip again. Here now we're playing with something unstable. So this is a foam pad that you can find in clinics, but most of us at home have pillows or towels you can roll up and basically do the same thing on. The idea is just to progressively challenge your stability and mobility, in this case, to restore previous function. Okay, having fun at the park so far. Good, good. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember showing that one to my anatomy students as well. So there goes the Achilles. Pop, and a recoil of the calf into the lower leg, going up higher than it should because it's no longer attached to your heel or a calcaneus. This is a confusing injury for the person it happens to. You'll often see athletes looking behind them as if somebody had hit them. People report a sound that sounds like a gunshot, so everybody's really confused when it happens to them. And I was there on the field once, actually, when it happened to a soccer player who started getting mad at the nearest opponent just by them having nothing to do with it. So the ankle can move in a few different ways. We'll focus on the ability of the foot to be pointed down or up. When we bring the toes up towards our shins, we stretch everything behind the lower leg, so our calf. Our calf is attached to our heel bone, the calcaneus, through one tendon, the Achilles. And when you stretch it a little bit too far, too quickly, maybe with too much force, it snaps. And then you've got nothing left there, pretty much, to help bring your toe back down. So you've got nothing restricting the toe from going up anymore. That's the good news. The bad news is you've basically got a fairly useless foot when it comes to walking. You've lost all the ability to generate power from the backside, which is at least half of what a lower leg should do during most tasks. All right, so we're just warming up before a run, little butt kicks, squat, stand, high knees, lunges. Yeah, so far so good. All of that is a great way to get ready for activity. Oh, hip rotations, I should be doing more of those. Yeah, no, perfect. This is somebody who's getting ready to jog or maybe play a sport with their friends. Great way to get ready for that activity. Gradually ramping up to the intensity of the practice itself and involving most of the relevant joints in the process. So we see some exercises like the butt kicks that maybe will stretch out the quads and activate or warm up the hamstrings a little bit, the little pogo ankles, or I forget what they call them, but when they're just jumping up and down on their toes, that gets the lower leg ready, specifically the calf and the Achilles tendon for what's to come. Anybody who wants to go for a jog should consider doing something very similar to this before really starting the run, the workout. So another thing I love about the way they're getting ready for physical activity is to be dynamic about it. A question we often get in the clinic is, should I stretch or should I warm up before physical activity? So any type of movement is usually beneficial, but static stretching, so sitting down, holding something for 30 seconds throughout deep breath, is a little confusing for the nervous system. It doesn't prepare us for intense physical activity to the same degree that an active or dynamic warm-up like this one would. So this is the best way to get ready for something more intense. Stretching is fine, but it's probably even better after the session when there's no longer a risk of basically tricking your brain into thinking everything's cool and relaxed. Okay, so we've got some folks standing in water, not on a crocodile like I first thought, but on a log, which makes a lot more sense. Okay, so we'll keep watching then. Oh, what a fun contest that is, trying to trick the other person into going a little bit too far one way. Why not splash them with water, make them lose their grip, their traction on the log? Oh, wow, going full out with a bucket pour. Okay, respect for that mobility and coordination. Now, is he going to whip him with the belt? You know what? You got what you deserve there. A little too mean, you lose. Yeah, I don't know that I've got a qualified perspective to share on any of this. How to get to that level of balance and mobility? Definitely not by sitting on a chair like I'm doing now. So being active throughout one's life, and this is a good example of how task-specific ability can manifest itself. So if those folks had simply stood on, let's say, a towel or a foam pad at the gym to work on their balance, I don't think they could hop on that thing and just crush it like they did.